Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of the box 27 tutorial for the little mini stocking. So hopefully you've managed to follow the tutorial so far and you've got to the stage where your stocking, you've tacked the bias binding onto one side of your stocking, and then we're just about ready to flip it over and fold it over the edge, and then do the ladder stitch on the back, the opposite side, and then sew the little handle and finish off the edge. So hopefully the tutorial has got you that far and that you've enjoyed the quilting and managed to do the bias on the top of the stocking, which is quite a good practice for doing the bias around the edge of the stocking actually. So we also put in your box one of these. Oh my goodness, they're so good. And I kind of feel like they're healthy. And we also sent out the PDF for the little free pattern, which is this kind of nod to the Chinese New Year being the year of the rabbit. I love it, it's so cute. But you've got the instructions of how to transfer that and stitch that yourself. If you've got any questions, put them on the Facebook group or message me. And if you didn't get the email, let us know as well. You should have got the email. But that's there too. What you have, where we left off was pinning the bias all the way around and then doing the running stitch. So the bias is kind of right side next to right side, and then you do your running stitch around that first section just before that first fold all the way around. So you're gonna the way that the bias is cut, so it is cut on the bias, so it goes around corners really nicely, but you will need to kind of gather it slightly around the little corner there. And then once you've done that, we're going to fold it. So you're going to have your long bit at the top here, slightly shorter bit there, so we're going to finish that off, and then we're going to make that the little handle. So what we need to do now is turn it over and cover that edge, and we're going to use the ladder stitch again to attach the bias to this side of the stocking invisibly, so you won't be able to see it. So I'm going to do a little close-up of that to show you again the process, and then also I'll just show you once we've done that how you just finish off the two edges. So we're going to start here with the ladder stitch. So I'm threading my needle with 2 strands, so it's a nice strong stitch to seal up that stocking. So I'm starting here and I'm pushing my needle through that piece of binding, and the knot is going to come through, and we're going to cover the knot with our stitch. But the ladder stitch basically goes between this piece of fabric, the edge of the bias, and then the first layer of the stocking, and you're joining them together but invisibly. So we put our needle into the top here. So this is what my needle looks like going through that top layer. So you don't want it to come through, you just want to go through that first fold of the bias. So you come through that, and then I'm going to go back down, and I'm going to do the same through this first layer of stocking. I'm going to just leave that loose for the moment. I'm going to go back again through this top layer of binding, so you haven't come through on that side. I'm going to go back through the stocking, and then I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to pull it tight, because if you leave it too long to pull it tight, it can get a little bit tricky. So you can see my ladder, and you can see that you can't see the stitches from the top, and so I'm just going to pull this tight, and you can see how that's pulled the bias nice and close to our stocking. So don't pull it too much, otherwise you are going to make it pucker. But then you just carry on doing that the whole way around the stocking. So I'm just going to finish off with a little knot. Catch the inside of the binding again, and the bottom side, and just do a little knot with your needle. You could go over that again. And you might want to press, once you've pulled your ladder stitch tight, you might want to press around the whole stocking just to make it look neat. And now I'm going to show you how we add the little loop. So I've just folded over the loose end of the bias binding. I folded under the raw edge, and then I'm lining it up with that top edge of the bias binding and just flattening out the top of the stocking. Now you could pin it if that would be easier for you, but then we're just going to catch the back layer of binding. So I've just done 3 little very wonky stitches there to secure that in place. And then you just do exactly the same on this side as well. So fold the stocking kind of flat, and then fold over your bias. I'll probably trim that a little bit more so that it lines up with the top edge of the bias, and then just stitch along here. So Christine's instructions are brilliant, so you should be able to follow this step by step and just be able to take it nice and slowly and complete your stocking.